Cena's decision to align himself with The Rock, a surprising and unprecedented move, has sent shockwaves throughout the WWE universe. For fans who have followed Cena's career for 2 decades, this was more than just a shocking turn. It was a calculated, strategic shift that marked the evolution of one of the company's most iconic figures. To truly understand why Cena made this bold decision, we need to delve into the psychology behind it and the layers of storytelling that led to his heel turn at Elimination Chamber 2025. The slow burn of Cena's transformation. John Cena's career has long been synonymous with the phrase "never give up." The image of Cena as the all-American hero has been deeply ingrained in WWE for over a decade. However, this persona was not created overnight. It was a result of years of storytelling, brand building, and evolving perceptions. His rise to fame was crafted with the intent to make him the face of the company, a role that he embraced for most of his career. Unlike other superstars who've undergone dramatic heel turns, Cena's transformation didn't happen overnight. It was more of a slow burn, an eventual evolution. The man who spent years as WWE's Golden Boy was now embracing a different identity, shedding the never-give-up attitude that had made him beloved by millions. This turn was not just a flip of the script, but a masterful play that was years in the making. The seeds of this transformation were planted over time, especially as Cena's character became increasingly polarizing. Cena's relationship with the fans had changed. While his alignment with children and families cemented his status as a hero, there was a vocal section of the audience that began to resent him. His formulaic approach to promos and his inevitable victories had started to grate on even some of his most ardent supporters. Cena, as he transitioned into a part-time role, found himself with less screen time and fewer storylines, and his popularity began to wane with the newer generation of fans. Cena's rivalry with The Rock. The moment that truly set the stage for Cena's eventual heel turn came during his rivalry with The Rock. Their feud at WrestleMania 28 in 2012 was one of the most high-profile storylines in WWE history. At the time, Cena went to great lengths to discredit The Rock, accusing him of abandoning WWE for Hollywood and calling him a part-timer. The vitriol between the two built an epic clash of personalities, and Cena made it clear that he saw The Rock as a threat to his position in the company. However, in a poetic twist of fate, Cena eventually walked the very same path that he had criticized The Rock for taking. While The Rock had embraced his Hollywood persona, Cena began to balance his time between wrestling and pursuing a career in entertainment. Initially, this shift seemed like a temporary phase, but it became clear that Cena's commitment to WWE was becoming less intense as he pursued other interests. As Cena's part-time status solidified, fans started to see a different side of him, one that was more willing to embrace his Hollywood opportunities, even if it meant stepping away from the spotlight that he had once owned. The logic behind the heel turn. By the time Cena made his shocking heel turn in Elimination Chamber 2025, it was clear that the WWE landscape had drastically changed. The company no longer relied on Cena as its sole figurehead. New stars like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Cody Rhodes had emerged as the top talent in WWE. Cena was no longer the central figure, and he had less responsibility as the face of the company. For Cena, this shift provided the perfect opportunity to explore a darker side of his character. Over the years, Cena had resisted the idea of turning heel, partly because of his role as a role model for younger fans. Cena's reputation as a corporate spokesperson, combined with his status as the ultimate good guy, meant that turning heel would have been a disservice to the image he had built. However, with less pressure to maintain his image as the company's golden boy, Cena was now free to embrace the villainous persona that he had long suppressed. This heel turn was not a knee-jerk reaction to a singular event, but rather a culmination of Cena's internal conflict over the years. As Cena transitioned into his final year with WWE, the idea of proving himself one last time, of asserting his dominance once again, began to take precedence. The desire to show that he was still one of the best in the company, even if that meant doing so through questionable means, became central to his character. Cena's newfound ruthlessness. One of the most striking aspects of Cena's heel turn was the newfound ruthlessness he exhibited. The Cena that fans once knew would never have hesitated to offer a hand to a fallen opponent or show respect to a challenger. But in his new persona, Cena was willing to do whatever it took to succeed, even if it meant bending the rules and exploiting his opponent's weaknesses. His victory at the Elimination Chamber match was a prime example of this shift in attitude. The old Cena would have hesitated to capitalize on CM Punk's weakened state, but the new Cena showed no remorse, locking in the STF with an intensity and malice that fans had never seen before. The most compelling part of Cena's transformation is how he played the role of an antagonist, not because he was inherently bad, but because he was determined to prove that he still belonged at the top. It wasn't just about the title anymore. It was about legacy. Cena's heel turn represented his need to show the world that he still had what it took to be the best, even if that meant taking shortcuts along the way. Cena's relationship with Cody Rhodes. A key element of Cena's heel turn is his evolving dynamic with Cody Rhodes. Cena had always been the top guy in WWE, but with Rhodes rising through the ranks, Cena saw in him a reflection of his own early career. Rhodes, much like Cena, was presented as WWE's future, and as Cena saw him take his place in the spotlight, he resented the fact that the company had invested in Rhodes the way they once had in him. Cena, having experienced the highs and lows of WWE, was now seeking to reassert his dominance. He was not willing to simply fade away into the background. His rivalry with Cody Rhodes represented everything Cena had lost: the youthful promise, the fresh face of WWE. This narrative added another layer to Cena's heel turn, as it wasn't just about competing for a title, it was about competing for relevance. Cena was fighting against the idea that his time had passed, and Rhodes, the new face of WWE, represented a painful reminder of that. The Rock and Cena's alliance. The alliance between Cena and The Rock was another fascinating element of this storyline. For years, Cena had discredited The Rock for leaving WWE for Hollywood, accusing him of abandoning the company that made him a star. Yet, in a stunning twist, Cena aligned himself with The Rock, further blurring the lines between hero and villain. It was unclear whether Cena truly believed in The Rock's vision, or if he was simply using him as a means to an end. Regardless of his motivations, Cena's alliance with The Rock added complexity to his character, making him an even more intriguing figure. The future of Cena's heel run. The question now is how Cena's heel turn will affect his legacy. Fans who had once adored him are now left grappling with the idea of their hero being a villain. However, just as Roman Reigns' heel turn was initially met with resistance before becoming one of the most compelling storylines in WWE, Cena's transformation could eventually lead to a similar redemption. Over time, fans might come to appreciate Cena's new persona and the complexities it adds to his legacy. Cena's heel turn is not just a way to finish his career with a bang, it is a deliberate move to leave a lasting impact on WWE's future. In conclusion, John Cena's heel turn was not simply a reactionary moment, but the culmination of years of build-up, internal conflict, and changing circumstances. His shift from the ever-smiling hero to a ruthless villain reflects his evolving relationship with WWE, its audience, and his own place in the company's history. As Cena embarks on his final year in WWE, fans are left wondering how this new, darker version of Cena will shape the future of the company and what lasting legacy he will leave behind. His heel turn marks the end of an era, and it will undoubtedly be one of the most talked about moments in wrestling history.